What's going on, everybody? It's Joe with Total Justice Gaming, and I'm back with a new deck profile for Bot Talk. This time we're going to be talking about 3-wide Decepticon planes. This is my first plane deck. I'm usually a tank guy, but this time around, the pulling gods that be graced me with the Windsweeper, and I just really want to give this a chance. We have so much to talk about in this deck. First off, I nicknamed this Macross missiles because we are doing so much out of combat damage. It is literally like a stream of spaghetti missiles you see in the old Macross or Robotech series before even swinging. So we will hop right into it. As you can see, we are running Sky Shadow Plane, Windsweeper, and ThunderCracker. We do not have any stratagem at the moment. We are a full 25 stars. We got Sky Shadow Plane, who is a plane and range, who's a 410-2, and Bold 2. He's not going to be turning into anything this time around. We are there to use him. He is usually our first swing out of the gate. We are also going to just really be using him to pretty much be the main guy that takes most of the damage in the deck. With Bolt 2, he's going to be able to do some decent damage right off the bat. Uh, 4 attack is pretty decent. 2 defense is about what you'd expect from a 7-star character. 10 health is nice. Overall, the deck is at 37 health. Moving along, we are running... Let's see if I can't zoom in with special effects. Special effects. Alright, we are running Wave 1 ThunderCracker. He's a plane and range. He is a 412-1 in jet mode. When you flip to this mode, you can do 2 damage to a melee character. And then in bot mode, he is just ranged. He is a 512-1 that says when you play an action, he gets +1 attack until the end of turn, making him a 6. So ThunderCracker is probably going to be our second swing in this deck. The transformation sequence and overall attack sequence in this deck is normally going to be a ding. I am very popular on Facebook today. So the whole goal of the deck is, of course, to trigger Windsweeper as much as possible. So we are first turn, swing with Windsweeper, transform Windsweeper, swing with Sky Shadow Plane. Turn 2, flip, and swing with ThunderCracker. After we got some decent damage, transform back into plane mode with Windsweeper. You can then just keep on swinging with his ability, which is when this attacks, if you have at least 2 planes on your starting team, move 2 damage counters from this to the defender. Otherwise, move 1 damage counter from this to the defender. And Windsweeper in bot mode, since we haven't talked about him yet, he is both a plane and ranged, even in bot mode. He's a 415-2 that says one of your other character's attacks, you may move 1 damage counter from them to this. So every time one of our characters swings after they've taken damage, we can load him up with missiles, quote unquote, and then flip to jet mode, and then take a swing, and then launch the missiles onto somebody, because moving damage is not the same as giving damage or repairing damage, as this has been gone over time and time again. I feel really bad for Joe from Wreck and Roll because I think he's been bombarded with this question so many times because of the new stuff coming out. You guys have my sympathies with all the rules things, and I'm just as guilty as everybody else. I think I bothered poor Joe a ton. But no, so the whole goal is to swing with these 2 guys, go into jet mode with Windsweeper, swing with Windsweeper, attach a whole bunch of damage to somebody, and then try to knock them out. We don't really transform anybody in the deck except for Windsweeper continuously. ThunderCracker's really going to stay in bot mode the whole game unless we are going against a very heavy melee focus deck, which in that case we make use of his alt mode, which says when you flip to this mode, do 2 damage to a melee character. So the whole premise is to load up with out of combat effects that will either move damage onto a character or do free damage to opposing characters. Uh, then ThunderCracker will probably be one of our main attackers out of the 3 to try and do the most damage because of his ability to get +1 damage, make him a 6 before flips, which is very good. Then you accompany that with anything like Camion Crush or Precision Fire, any of our actions, and you're going to be swinging for very, very hefty damage. Windsweeper can deal decent amount of damage on his own, but he also tends to need his ability to trigger to deal a good chunk of damage, unlike ThunderCracker. So we're trying to lay an early barrage with Sky Shadow, then deal a good chunk of damage with ThunderCracker, and hopefully finish them off with Windsweeper. That is the proposed plan of the deck. So again, it's turn 1, swing with Sky Shadow Plane after transforming Windsweeper. Turn 2, transform ThunderCracker, swing with ThunderCracker, use an action. Turn 3, transform Windsweeper back to plane mode, and then swing. So we got these guys covered. Let's move on over to the battle deck. We will be running down, of course, weapons, then utilities, then armor, then defense. So we're going to be running 2 copies of Fusion Board. See if I can make this a little more readable. There we go. It's 2 copies of Fusion Board. Fusion Board is the Pierce equivalent of grenade launcher. We're only running this deal. We run a very large amount of weapons in this deck. We are running a grand total of 11 weapons, 2 utilities, and 6 armors, with 21 actions in the deck. So it gives anybody Pierce 3, which is decent, +3 attack, which makes ThunderCracker and Windsweeper and Sky Shadow hit for really big numbers. The Pierce 3 really helps make sure we deal a good chunk of damage. Again, 3 damage is nothing to sneeze at. For a lot of characters, that's a quarter of their life right out the gate. This is a orange-black deck. So we're going to be raising that Pierce number quite a bit. Running 3 copies of Paralyzo Box. We can pick this up because we are a ranged deck, so that will trigger the green tribe pip. This is one of our white pips. This one's a bit more of a gamble. I would not recommend. I would recommend picking it up as soon as possible, but would not recommend playing this until you've seen a good bit of the opponent's deck, that we can get a feel for it, in order to make sure you hit that +4 damage on a continuous basis. But +4 damage that sticks around is just so worth it. We need to run it. Next up, we got 3 copies of Grenade Launcher. It's a +4 damage. I mean, I really don't need to go too much into that. Next up, we got 3 copies of Sturdy Javelin. Nice art synergy because we are running ThunderCracker. This is our other white pip in the deck. We are burning the opponent for 2 every time we swing with it. So, free damage and then big swings. We are not entirely low in life. I did feel the need to run at least 2 enhanced power cells for utilities to get +3 health. Again, I mean, it's just 1 character's going to get it, or 2 characters. That'll bump us up to 43 health in total. It's not bad to run this. I mean, you could run this and let Sky Shadow Plane stick around a little longer, or you could stick this on ThunderCracker and make him about as beefy as Windsweeper. It's not a bad choice. I'm always open to suggestions on the slot, but having a pretty beefy ThunderCracker to stick around and deal more damage, I always see that as a win. Running 3 copies of the Decepticon variant of Improvised Shield. It's there for the double blue, or double orange, excuse me. 3 copies of increased durability, more black pips for more pierce, plus 4 health. Same reason as the enhanced power cell, just make our guys beefier to last longer. We are only a 3-wide deck. We are not a headmaster deck this time around. Sky Shadow Plane could stick around a little longer because he has Bolt 2. Make ThunderCracker beefier, make Windsweeper beefier. Alright, moving into the actions. We got quite a bit of them. More than my normal amount, but with ThunderCracker's ability and the need to do out-of-combat damage in this deck, it's warranted the 21. So we're running 3 copies of Fight for Position. This is Bold 2. It's an orange-black pip. There we go. 3 copies of Precision Fire. Choose a mode. Do 1 damage to each character that is in that mode. This time around, we would probably be choosing bot mode or body mode more than we would alt mode because we're trying to minimize as much damage as we do to ourselves. Precision Fire could hurt us if we do alt mode because Windsweeper is going to be in alt mode a whole bunch, and Sky Shadow Plane is always in alt mode. So we need to be able to choose bot or body to be able to do that much damage to a wider spread. 3 copies of Magnetic Dysfunction Ray. Do 1 damage to everybody, and then do an additional 1 damage to each Autobot. Since we're pure Decepticon, we're at least going to be dealing damage to everybody, meaning everybody takes 1, and any Autobots just take an additional 2. So then we swing in. I would use this when we get ready to swing in with ThunderCracker, because that would give him 6 attack, bar any weapons, and then you flip 2. That means he's 8 to potentially 4 to 12 damage coming in on somebody if you flip well. 3 copies of Scouting Mission. I do believe this is one of our very few blue pips. It's just deal with damage and draw 2. We can nick ThunderCracker to draw 2, give him a damage buff, or nick Sky Shadow to draw 2. I would probably try and use it with ThunderCracker. That way you can net the damage bonus and draw 2 on top just for taking a single point of damage. I don't think that's that bad of a drawback. 2 copies of Bombing Run. Choose an enemy character, move 1 damage counter from each of your planes to that enemy. More damage movement. We're going to be having at least 2 planes out on the field at all time with Windsweeper. This is something I would probably play with Windsweeper when he's in alt mode. That way we can maximize the effectiveness of it. And possibly heal up my Windsweeper when his ability triggers when we swing. 2 copies of Camion Crash. This card is just fantastic. Playing against Cameron or Arbitrary Hero really opened my eyes to how good this card is. So, again, I would probably run this either on Windsweeper or ThunderCracker. Do 2 damage to an opponent, swing with ThunderCracker, make him real big, and then swing real hard. 3 copies of Lock On. This is the Bold 4 card. We hit for gigantic numbers, or get our full damage value via Pierce out of this. Bolt 4 to planes, and also we get a nice blue pip out of the plane travel thing. And then finally, 2 copies of Two-Pronged Attack. This time around, we will not be using this for the discard, but we will be using this for the plane ability, which is the opponent chooses one of the characters and deals 2 damage to it. Again, more fodder we can toss out to use on ThunderCracker, or we can use this on really anybody. I just like particularly focusing on ThunderCracker because anytime we play an action, it hurts the opponent and gets us a damage bonus to then hit the opponent even harder. But guys, that's the deck. Let me know what you think. I really enjoy this deck. It's a whole lot of fun. It's my first time with planes. I'm really enjoying it. I still love tanks just a little more, but that's just me. But again, by all means, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys next time. Oh, hail Megatron.